Hey everybody, welcome back. We had a little bit of time off this past weekend, but many of you didn't because so many of you were at Baltimore. We've been hearing stories, we've been seeing photos. Heck, I was talking to Micah. He was there having a great time. He's still trying to, get Baltimore out of his system and get back to work. So that's what we're here to do tonight. We're going to be doing a ComicConnect auction preview. And yeah, Stingray, I saw some photographs of you. I saw you hanging out with Big Phil, I guess, after his panel. Your wallet is still recovering from Baltimore. I saw some people post on some of the Facebook groups where literally it seemed like they had some pretty big budgets, like $5,000-$6,000, even a little bit more. You just don't usually see that people post in the groups that they're spending that much money. But hey, Baltimore is a show that has a lot of talent, of course, and they also have a fun group of collectors that typically make it out there. I heard there was a good get together on Friday, gosh, yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff. I think we're going to be having a few different video excerpts from Baltimore on the CAF update this weekend. But hey, let me bring in Micah. We can get this ComicConnect preview rocking and rolling. Hey, Micah.
Hello, Bill. Thanks for having me again. And I'll try to keep my energy up after a long time.
Well, you know what I like to do to keep up my energy? I like to take a Z wherever I go. Do you have one of these?
I have water.
That doesn't count. Well, no wonder. From 1969, huh? Very good year.
I think I got this in San Diego probably like 5 years ago. I mean, it is a little worse for wear, but I use it every day. I love it. And it's got Snoopy on it. Need more things with Snoopy. Yes. But Baltimore's a great show. It's a lot of fun. They always have a great artist list.
Mm-hmm.
It's always fun, artists come by. We had a lot of the auction stuff, it's on display because the auction is running. And it's always fun when artists come by and look at the stuff and Google. That's always. I had a couple people that just heard we had stuff and it's like, I gotta go see it. I gotta go see it in person. And that's always exciting. It's always fun. It's always fun to chat with artists.
Very cool. Yeah, no, I saw there were a lot of, well, everybody takes selfies with artists when they're out there, but Baltimore seems to be one of those shows where you see a lot more of them after the shows are over. Because I mean, there was, at least a dozen different, people that I saw in some of the groups, and it's just artist selfie after artist selfie after, just hanging out kind of stuff.
It's a really good show for like post-show hangouts. Artists are around, you can chat. I was outside one of the hotels, like the main hotel, was like wrapping up Saturday evening and end up having a conversation with a bunch of people and Michael Cho, and it's cool, it's fun. We have a Michael Cho piece in the auction.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I saw Michael Cho did a bunch of pre-drawn stuff that was very affordable. Looked great. Yeah. I always love his stuff.
I don't think I actually saw him inside, but I saw him at the bar.
Well, that's good, man. And yeah,
I even bought a piece of art for myself. That's always a successful show.
What did you buy for yourself?
I bought a Duncan Fegredo X-Force page from the Milligan. It's his one fill-in issue from the Milligan Allred X-Force Ecstatics run.
Yeah,
that's fun. I like Fegredo. I like that comic, and he only drew the one issue, so that's cool.
Awesome. Where did you find that? Which off
another collector? I bought that from Joe Melchior.
Ah, that makes sense.
From his little portfolio there.
I forgot about that. He always goes to Baltimore.
Well, he goes. Mark Buckingham was there, so he was there repping Buckingham, and he got to be in Baltimore on his birthday, which is it was what everybody wants, to be in Baltimore on their birthday, away from their wedding.
Well, I saw he had cake delivered. It was sitting right next to his TV when he got to his room or something like that. So that wasn't you. You didn't.
It was not me. I wish it was. I wish I could take credit for that, but I can't. But no, I like Joe a lot. We've been friends for a long time. So it's always nice to see him. I see for a guy who lives very far away, he travels a lot. I don't know if I could do the transatlantic travel as much as he does. It's a lot. Once a year is good. Twice a year would be okay.
So much of his business is over here. So I guess, and he has a lot of friends here.
He's been
at this for a while. So I get it. I mean, I'm sure he's, we haven't gone down the exhibitor hole too far yet with OAX, but I know that he wants to come back to that. We saw him there last year. So
I can't imagine he wouldn't. It's and OAX is great. I talked to a lot of people about it. people who were there, people who weren't, who are excited about going next year. I'm acting a little bit as your surrogate for OAX, and I'm cool with it.
I appreciate that. I'll make sure you're taken care of at the reception.
Thank you. That's why I do it. Pro quo, Bill.
Exactly. So tell me a bit about the auction.
So we got our auction, one of our quarterly auctions. It ends next Monday, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern. We've got some really good stuff. A couple pieces behind me. We'll probably talk about those two first. And yeah, I'm excited about it. Again, we had a lot of really nice like reactions to the pieces in Baltimore. I've heard a lot of good things from people, and you know, I think there's some really nice stuff. It's a good quality auction. There's a lot of really nice pieces, a lot of really good artists represented, some things that are very rare, and some, you know, and even some things that maybe aren't so rare, but you just don't see for sale often. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of, you know, some 90s stuff that just does not come up for sale. It's just, you know, these like hen's teeth pages that people hang on to, and you know, it's fun to see some stuff that, you know, pages from books that I've never been a part of selling pages from before. So it's cool to get to see things. Well, we'll talk about them as we go. You want to dive in?
Yeah, we might as well. Let's see here.
Start with the first one. The first one's right here.
Yeah, let me load up the first page here. So when you go to, just out of curiosity, when you're there at Baltimore, who from the shop travels with you?
At Baltimore, it was me and Chris, who's my regular Baltimore companion. Mm-hmm. He deals more with the comic books, but Chris is a good guy. We get along. We have a good time together. And one of our newer employees, Harry, who's young but wise beyond his years. It's a little annoying, and he's picking up the art game, and he's diving in head first and doing a real nice job at it. So I'm sort of mentoring him, which is weird. But
well, if he starts mentoring you, then you've got a problem.
There are things where he does, and that's where it becomes annoying. He's real good at identifying artists. He's good at it. He can identify letterers. It's a little OCD. It's a little crazy.
Oh, that would get to me there too, because
and for somebody so young, he has a surprisingly broad taste. So, wow. Did he picked up an old Eduardo Barreto page at the show. So jeez, that's kind of stuff.
Did he grow up in a comic shop or something? I mean,
he started reading comics young.
Yeah,
and he started reading old comics young. So you know, you got like little, you know, exposed to things that maybe a lot of young people wouldn't be. I think the first comics he ever read were like 70s shadow comics, which is, you know, like all kids, drawn to the shadow.
Exactly. That's an interesting place to start, but
yeah. But no, Harry, I've known him since he was like 18, maybe younger, because he used to work at the comic shop I used to go to part time, and he was always, even when he was real young, I was like, why do you know these things? You shouldn't know these things. But he knows the new stuff too, because that's, you know, current.
Sure.
No, it's good. So let's talk about this Frank Miller page, which is pretty cool.
This was in Baltimore, I imagine. A lot of people.
It was indeed. It was indeed. And I mean, when we got this page in, it was exciting. It's a really good one, and it's got a lot going for it. Got a lot of characters on it, and a pretty great image of Daredevil down there. So yeah, you got Kingpin and Vanessa, Kingpin's wife, and Bullseye, and then the whole thing's narrated by Turk, looks like he's about to get a fist of Daredevil at the end. But it's nice. It's nice. It's issue 173, 172. So relatively early on in Miller's run after he started writing, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the last issue where Miller provided full pencils. So it's full pencils by Miller with Janson inks, and not Miller layouts with Janson inks, which is, I think, nobody used to care. Miller Daredevil was Miller Daredevil, but as the pages get more desirable and more valuable, things like Miller actually doing full pencils, I think, make more of a difference. you know, if you're going to drop what these pages cost now, you know, you kind of want to have a good amount of Frank Miller on them. And this is all Miller on the page. It's really pretty, and it was been in a collection since the 80s. So the page has not been on the market for, you know, 35 years or so, and it's super cool. I would love this page. I wish I saw this page 30 years ago for what Daredevil pages cost 30 years ago.
Yeah, me too.
That's pretty great. I'm happy with where it's at now. You know, these pages are like gold. It seems like there's no stopping them, and which makes me even more wish I'd bought one 30 years ago. But it's a good one. It's a good one.
Very nice. Yeah, the Marcus says people cared. I mean, yeah, that was one I remember when I first started collecting and I was interested in getting Miller Daredevil. That was one of my early questions, was like, where's the cutoff point, you know, for, you know, because everybody seemed to be talking about that, like in the Comic Art L group, right? I remember when I reached out to Will Gabrielle because he seemed to have a pretty good knowledge of, you know, when his pencils weren't really on the finished pieces.
For sure. Honestly, it's something that, you know, when I was looking at pages in the 90s, I don't even think that would have even crossed my mind. I don't know how. I mean, it wasn't known to me anyway, and it's just. But the pages were like $200, and I still didn't buy one.
But back then, yeah, when it started getting into like, you know, $2,000, $2,500 a page, that's when people started to care, because then, you know, that I don't know, at least that's when I started collecting, right? When I started looking at thinking about Miller Daredevil to add to my collection, which I never have. It was in the late 90s, early 2000s, and yeah, that was always you know, a question. It was something that people were concerned about then. But yeah, you guys, this is a great piece. Congratulations.
Yeah. Sadly, I think that ship has sailed for me, but somebody's going to take home a real pretty page in about a week.
Yeah, I'm looking for Frank Miller color guides at this point.
There you go.
You got to be out there.
Yeah, Dark Knight color guides are super nice.
Yeah,
I'm calling them color guides is actually doing them a disservice, but you know what I mean. The color art are from Dark Knight. But anyway, next up, this beautiful Jack Kirby page behind me, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Journey into Mystery 86, the 4th appearance of Thor. This is a pretty amazing page with Thor fighting a bunch of robots, and I don't know that I like anything more than Thor fighting robots.
Come on, Thor versus Loki's classic, but you're right.
I know. I love these robots though. They're this perfect Kirby robots. They're amazing. And that 4th panel of Thor is perfect. Just a really, really strong page. And this is 1963. This predates Avengers 1 by a year. You know, this is within the first year or so of Marvel Comics, maybe less. And yeah, how often do you see these pages up for sale at all? I mean, you saw what happened with it's not the first Thor, but it's the 4th Thor. You see what happens with those Don Heck Tell suspense pages. I mean, you know, when these pages are available, I mean, they're special. They're special. It's history. It's part of the history of Marvel Comics as we know it. Back when they were just figuring it out, you know. I don't know that by the fourth Thor story they knew what Thor was going to become or what the Marvel universe was going to become. I mean, it's like getting something from its inception, and all these guys just working so hard to really reinvigorate and really change what comics are.
Yeah,
and nobody's more important than
I have an early page of Thor. Certainly. Yeah, I don't have. I've got a page from like 158. I think is the oldest piece I have of Thor. But
still cool.
Yeah, it's cool. That's twice up. I'd love it twice up. Thor.
I don't know anything about Kirby at all.
But this is a great page, obviously, and you're right.
Yeah, it's really special.
This period don't come up too often, so very, very nice, and a good piece to have.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a wonderful page. It's a really great display page too.
And hey, so clearly the auction ends next Monday for the art side of the auction. How you have comics and things going until Thursday of next week?
Through Tuesday to Friday is comics, and and I think 3 of the days are all the Ruben Blades' Golden Age collection.
Right.
Ruben Blades, the musician and actor, and his comic book collection is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It's remarkable. From just some Golden Age stuff that you just don't see. Books I didn't know existed. Books I'd never seen in person before. Yeah, but that's for for the comic book people to fight over those. All that they can have them. But Detective Comics #1. I mean, come on. Let's talk about Travis Charest, because this page is amazing. This is probably the page that got the most wow attention from other artists, especially artists who kind of came up in the 90s, where Charest was just one of those guys that everybody sort of rallied around. And so this is from the Wildcats X-Men crossover one-shot that he drew, and which is considered the absolute peak of his whole career. Not to, discount anything he's done since, but this is kind of what people look at as like, this is one of the most beautiful comics of the 90s, and maybe when he was really putting every ounce of effort into it. So I mean, the level of detail on this page is stunning. You're not going to see it on the camera, but there's the second image on the page on the website is close-up images, and where you can kind of see some of the details. If you want to pull that up. Yeah,
I'm just going to switch over to
the panels are a little out of order, but they're just kind of close-ups on some of the some of the panels. So if you want to enlarge that, yeah. See, and the detail he puts in there, like the detail in the glove in that first panel. It's like, why? Who would do that? Put so much detail into a glove, or like, I love the way he does like the wisps of Wolverine's hair, and the little, like all the little fine detail lines in the face, and the little spot of red. Just really special drawing. And these pages, people don't part with them. There's only so many. In research, when I was, looking up kind of what this page might be, what it might be worth, I found that Heritage sold a couple of these pages 20 years ago, and 20 years ago they were selling for $4,000 or $5,000, which was a huge number back then, huge. And the book was barely 5 years old. I mean, it's this. People knew early on how special this was, and so if you notice, on the page, it's pencils by Travis, and in inks it says various. So basically, Travis was having a hard time getting this book finished on schedule. So he brought in a bunch of his inker friends to help, but that doesn't mean that he didn't do inking as well. And from looking at the page and having seen a couple others, I can say with almost 100% certainty that he inked, at the very least, all the figures. There's nothing about the figures on this page that looks like Tim Townsend or Richard Friend or Scott Williams, like people who would have been around to help. So I don't want anybody to think that because it says various inkers that he didn't do it, because he absolutely did. At least the heavy lifting.
Right.
The little fine lines, nobody else is doing that. He's doing it. But really a remarkable page. I mean, just artists who I wouldn't have expected to go gaga over Travis were basically drooling over it. I think David Peterson came by yesterday and he couldn't stop looking at it. And I was like, yeah, sure, Bouskard and Travis, that makes sense. But he grew up.
Well, I mean, he's a guy who inspired, I think, a lot of creators who came.
Absolutely, and really, it's still doing great work. I don't want to. Again, I'm not.
Oh yeah.
Not knocking Travis at all. I mean, he's still doing amazing things, but this is special.
I was checking. You're right. There's not a lot of sales history. 03,
Nope.
04, and at least as far as non-private sales.
The page sold last year in auction for right around 20, which is,
Mhm.
Who knows what this one will do? We'll find out next week.
Yes, you will.
Next, more Kirby.
Yep.
Captain America Splash, Captain America 194. It's Kirby and Giacoya, and some classic Kirby Cap Splash with profiles and machines and just peak 70s Kirby, which again, as we've said many times, my favorite Kirby, 70s Kirby. No offense to Thor. The Thor page is amazing, but I love that sort of unfettered wackiness that comes with Kirby in the 70s, where he's not trying to prove anything anymore. He's just doing things that he likes.
Mm-hmm.
And Alberto is correct. So much machinery.
And this one's cool. I mean, as a title page, you get Jack Kirby, writer, artist, editor.
He's the Orson Welles of
responsibilities on this title page. I hope he got paid triple for it.
Written, directed, and produced.
Exactly.
But I even like the little guy, the guy down at the bottom, like working the knobs, like just great. Yeah, everything. I could look at this page all day.
That is very nice, definitely.
More Kirby. This one. This page is super cool.
Oh, the Tales of Suspense page.
So this is Tales of Suspense 72. So this is 1965. So this is Kirby layouts, as he did a lot on the sort of secondary books in the 60s. Once the book started blowing up, Kirby got spread real thin. So he would do layouts and then pass things on to other artists to finish. So Tales of Suspense 72 is credited in the book as Kirby layouts, Tuska finishes. But the first 4 pages, this is the 4th page. The first 4 pages are Kirby layouts and Wally Wood finishes.
Mm-hmm.
And then apparently Wally Wood had a fight with Stan Lee and quit Marvel Comics. But he did these 4 pages, and you can tell. I mean, this is a Wally Wood page. So no Tuska here at all. This is straight from Kirby to Wood. And they had worked together on Challengers of the Unknown and the Sky Masters comic strip. But here you got great Cap, you got the fantastic Red Skull in the second panel, and then Steve Rogers. I mean, it screams Wally Wood, but it also has all that Kirby elements. It's really beautiful. I like this page very much. I love that Kirby signed it in the balloon with the missing pay stub. It's funny. And not just like over like Steve Rogers' body like he might have otherwise. He probably would have, I don't know where he would have signed this page otherwise. But Kirby didn't necessarily care about signing over artwork, so I like that he signed it in the balloon. You got all the Kirby's notes in the margins. So a lot of Kirby handwriting here. It's always special. And the more Kirby on a page, the better, as far as you speak. But when there's less Kirby and the rest is Wally Wood, I think I can forgive that. But no, I love this page. I love it. It makes me happy.
It's too bad Wally couldn't, stay, friends with Stan through this thing. It would have been fun to see them work on it longer, right?
I imagine Wally and Stan Lee maybe didn't have matching personalities.
No, probably not.
More Wood coming up in a little bit.
Yes, there is. Now the next piece, it's a Werner Roth.
Werner Roth.
I mean, I'm thrilled to see a Werner Roth X-Men page getting so much love.
I know, because it's great. I mean, the last panel alone. If the other panels were just black, that last panel alone is as good an X-Men panel from this time period, with the whole team just charging forward. It's sadly, you got Marvel Girl pushing Professor X's wheelchair, which is, but what are you going to do? It was the 60s. But I love this guy. I don't know what it is, but I love it. The little weird creature in the 4th panel. It's It's Professor X and Magneto sort of having like a psychic battle for Professor X in Magneto's head. But it's cool. You got the whole team on this page and Magneto. I mean, it's really everything you'd want in an early X-Men page. It's their prestige, arch villain, and the entire team. Wonderful. And if that's not enough, this is page 19 from X-Men 18. We also have page 17 from X-Men 18, which has most of the team on it, and Magneto. No Angel, no Professor X, but still Cyclops, Jean, and Beast. And Magneto, it's just an Iceman. Another great one. Just skipping ahead just a few pieces, but yeah, it was really nice to get these 2 early X-Men pages in, because you don't see early X-Men pages really at all. And it's, you know, it's cool. Again, this is 1966, so it's still, you know, that early Marvel. It's when everything was fun, you know. Just they were having so much fun making these comics. I hope it seems like it anyway.
Yeah, I love Werner Roth. So
yeah, I think underappreciated, and you know.
Well, look, it's funny because
Kirby didn't draw everything, you know.
Right. Well, they always say, you know, that Werner's pencils weren't great, or he didn't draw superhero stuff really well. And it's funny because I've seen a lot of his Western stuff, and that's fantastic. So I could see, you know, he had maybe he was more in tune with drawing Westerns, or who knows? I can't even remember what else. You got to make a transition somehow.
You know, sometimes you draw the same kind of thing for a long enough, and then that's all people think you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to see. I think it's a pretty good X-Men page. You know, whether there's rumors that Kirby helped lay those pages out. Hard to say. I'm not saying that he did, but it's, you know, anything's possible. John Byrne. This is a beautiful page. More Thor for you, Bill.
I know. What's up with that?
So yeah, this is just this 2/3 splash panel of Thor is just remarkable. It's I mean, as good a Thor throwing Mjolnir panel as you could want. And yeah, Byrne, inked by Pablo Marcos. And so I learned this weekend. So the splash panel was drawn on a separate board and cut and pasted down.
Okay.
Underneath it, you can sort of see it. I'm not going to peel the whole thing up because it's glued down, but that could be done by a conservator. Underneath this panel is a completely different drawn penciled panel by Byrne. So underneath here is another full panel penciled by Byrne, not uninked. And you can kind of lift it up just enough to see sort of Thor's like legs. And it's tight finished pencils. But that's up to whoever buys it if they want to have that done. But it's there, so you're getting a whole 2/3 bonus pencil art by Byrne. So this is the last page to Avengers number 165 and 1977. So relatively early Byrne, early for Byrne for those sort of like high profile books. Pre X-Men, I believe. And yeah, this page speaks for itself.
It is awesome. And Marcus is asking if we can remove it now. No, he cannot remove it now.
I can't, because it looks like some work had been done, because there's like a plastic sort of an acetate sheet between this panel and the panel underneath it. I don't know when that was done, but if this were mine, I would take this to an art restorer or a conservator and have them remove it. And what I would probably do is then have this panel put on an acetate overlay, so you could see both.
Yeah, you can do that, or you could put like when you kind of make it like yeah. So you could just hinge it up so you can just see underneath it, lay it back down.
And it's discolored from rubber cement underneath. That can also be fixed. So much crackle. There's so much crackle on this page.
Yes. Kirby's influence.
Absolutely. That's not right on the back. What's on the back? Nothing. Oh, the original price.
Oh yeah. What was that?
$150.
$150. Well, that's probably that was actually a good price for back whenever that thing was probably originally sold.
The $150, that price probably would have been from the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Or give or take. That price on a page like that. Oh man, simpler times.
Yeah. I didn't see him either, man. So it's
No, I know. That says Mark Silvestri, the cover to Sideblade She, The Battle for Independence, image from Image in 1996. No, wait, 1990 something. It says on the thing. I think my date on this label here is wrong. What do we got here? It should say
95.
95. But you got, so Silvestri drawing Sideblade from, from his own Image series, and Billy Tucci's She. Nice, I'm blanking. The Baltimore's catching up with me. Stark image of the two girls, which is beautiful, by Silvestri. And yeah, Silvestri stuff for the 90s. You don't see a lot of his Image work. And this, you don't see a lot of his Marvel work in the 90s either. I mean, you don't see a lot of that era of Silvestri at all. But this is really nice. It's really nice. Like, this would look beautiful in a frame.
Why don't we see a lot of that?
I don't. It's a good question. I don't know if Mark still has stuff. I don't know. Maybe collectors just aren't selling it. I mean, there's a lot of comics from the 90s aren't quite old enough for the people who bought the artwork when it was new to be getting rid of it. Unless it's, so you and the pages were so inexpensive that I'm assuming that I'm just guessing here, but you had a lot of people who would buy things because they were inexpensive, and they're like, oh, I like that, I'll buy that. And then kind of life happens, and you move on, and you kind of forget that you even have these things, and you don't realize how much the value has increased because it's out of your mind. People move on, they stop collecting, they again, life happens. So I don't know how much of that there is, but I know that there's a lot of comics from the 90s where the art was readily available back then, and you never see it. And it's until unless something will sell for a huge number, and then all the pages come out because everybody's like, oh my God, I have one of those that that I've had for 30 years or 25 years. Who knows? I don't know.
I can say for myself, I've not seen a lot of it. I mean, there's a little bit.
We had a couple Wolverine pages. The Wolverine pages we had a couple auctions ago. Like, you don't even see those, and he drew that comic for a really long time. Between X-Men and Wolverine, Silvestri drew, those comics for a long time, almost 10 years between the two. Maybe not 10, but 7, something 6 or 7. It's a lot. I mean, I don't know. We'll find out. It'll be interesting. But it's, it means it's like when those things pop up, it's like, because I collect a lot of like that, like Vertigo's kind of style artwork from the 90s, and you don't see those pages. How often do you see a Sandman Mystery Theater page or a Shades of Changing Man page?
It's true. Yeah, I just did a search on CAF for published Wolverine Silvestri art, and there's only 88 pages on the site. I mean,
Exactly.
That's just a little over 4 books. So yeah,
it's entirely possible that, like Eric Larson, he kept a lot of it.
Yeah, it's true.
So because I know Larson kept the bulk of Savage Dragon, and McFarlane kept the bulk of Spawn. The issues he did by himself. You don't see those. I don't think I've ever seen a Spawn McFarlane.
Right. Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Yeah. Or Jim Lee Wildcats you see every now and again, but you don't even see that often. Yeah. You see some of the later stuff, the stuff from the later period stuff. But the early stuff, you just don't see. Youngblood, you don't see them. Oh, that's a good point. The inkers sell their pages, the pencilers keep them. But no, I mean, it's the nature of the cycles of collecting, Ooh, more Captain America. Like Zek.
Cover this.
Team America. Team America, everybody's favorite renegade bicycle gang of superheroes. No, this cover's great. I love these fun Zek. And Zek did these great, dramatic, like intense Cap covers, and he also did these ones that are just a lot of fun. And the art's equally great. Zek and Beatty on Zek and Beatty on Captain America is maybe for me, I think the best the two of them ever were. It's they were they worked so well together, and you got the first appearance of Team America. I think the cover to Team America sold recently and did shockingly well. Team America #1.
Okay, I missed that.
But that wasn't by Mike Zeck. It didn't have Captain America on it. Riding a motorcycle with an American flag sort of symbol on the gas tank, because it's Captain America. Damn it!
Exactly. No, it's cool. It's memorable. I wasn't reading Cap at that time. I don't know why. That was one of the books that I stopped picking up. But
all original stats are all original. Excellent. It's I love Mike Zeck on Captain America. I like Mike Zeck on Captain America a lot more than I like Mike Zeck on Secret Wars. That's a different subject.
That's true. Well, it's nice just to see that Zeck is getting out and about of late. Where he's been going to some Philippine shows.
Oh, right. He lives out there, doesn't he?
He's out in the Pacific somewhere. But
I haven't seen Zeck at a convention in a long time.
Right. I mean, I think the last time I saw him was one of the big WoW shows, probably
15 years ago.
2015, maybe would have been the last time. But yeah, I didn't even realize this. I signed up for Zeck's mailing list a long time ago. I got an email from him the other day, and I thought, oh, maybe it's about OAS. That's a great show. But it was crazy. I don't think I've ever gotten an email from his mailing list until.
Have you tried any of the guys who are around but just don't do appearances? Paul Smith, Mike Flug, Barry Smith.
We've tried quite a few names.
I mean, those are like I've never met Paul Smith. I've never met Mike Flug. I've been doing this for 35 years, going to conventions.
Same here. Yeah, we did ask Paul, definitely. I mean, obviously, many people would love to have Paul at a show. He's
absolutely. Somebody asked me in San Diego, like, who that's still around that I've never met would I really want to see at a convention? And in the moment, I couldn't think of it. But a couple days later, I was like, oh, it's Paul Smith. 100% it's Paul Smith. And he's still active. He's still drawing. He sells drawings on his website. He had a great piece in the Heroes auction in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So he's still got all of his chops. And I think he would be a huge draw at a show.
Oh, he's the kind of guy that would draw in 40, 50 collectors by himself. Just
maybe more. People would travel.
Right. You would have to line up a CGC signing and all these other things. And I think maybe he just isn't interested. And I can respect that at the end of the day. I mean, but yeah, he's good. But I think he'll only travel as far as his motorcycle will take him. So he's good at staying where he's at. But you never know. You never say never, right? I mean, he's still in the States, and I think he's out west somewhere, Arizona or there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is what it is. But yeah, he was high on our list. And I've never met Barry Smith. I'd love to meet him.
I met Barry Smith exactly one time. He did one show in New York in the early 90s. And the only time I ever saw him. And the only thing he was signing one thing per person. And the only thing I had him sign was a page of art that I no longer have.
Well, but yeah, he had the health issues last year, and
sure.
You figure the studio
he's a little different because he's significantly older than Zeck and Paul Smith.
Right. But again, he's somebody that hasn't, you haven't seen too often. I mean, he doesn't make too many appearances. I mean, one of the last photographs I remember seeing of him was when he did that. He attended that Joe Sinnott day that they had in upstate New York or something like that, and he got a picture with Joe, and I mean that was kind of cool. But I feel like that's like the last one of the last.
He lives upstate New York somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. I think it was Woodstock area, maybe. I'm not sure.
Marcus says we should call him. But anyways, yes, absolutely. I'd have Barry Smith at an OAX show in a heartbeat. I'd find a table, or I'd find a booth for that man, one way or another.
You got to draw for people at the show, Barry. It's like, nope.
That's the trick, because that is our mantra: is we want people who are able to do work. But there's exceptions. I would have John at the show even if he didn't want to draw, because I think so. That would be.
There's another guy. I've been at two shows that Byrne was at, but I've only met him once. It might have been that same show that Barry Smith was at. It was around the same time, 92, 93, somewhere around there. Dale Keown.
Well, see, we have our wish list, but they're similar. Yeah, I get it, man. I mean, I'd be happy just to see him anywhere. That's true. But yeah, Dale Keown,
Hulk 385. On the street. Yeah, it's a pretty great Dale Keown Hulk page. Hulk 385. He's just tearing through a crowd. That bottom, that half splash panel on the bottom is quintessential Hulk. Just, you know.
Yeah, that bottom panel is incredible.
Fabulous. I like these comics. I like these comics when they were coming out. It's Peter David, Dale Keown. I really, there's some night like this Mark Farmer inks. So it's like it's really like a smoothness to Keown that I always really liked, and it's a uniquely him. You get kind of like familiarity in the sort of like kind of curves and things, but Keown always everything's a little bit exaggerated, a little bit bigger than you expect, and more powerful. Even like the face in the second panel of the character who I forget who is, but it's like the right amount of detail. He's not overdrawing it, he's not underdrawing it. It's just kind of right. Really well inked this page too. But yeah, the bottom panel is the money panel. It's just Hulk being the Hulk and just throwing a bunch of people around.
Yeah, no, this is a great page, great layout. You know, that bottom panel, it's kind of funky with the angled panel.
Yeah, I like it. When you look at the image in like a thumbnail version, like when you see it from a distance, you get the shape of the pages of the page, and it's really interesting shape. I like that.
Yeah, well, Mark Farmer did a great job inking this page. I mean, he's fantastic. Yeah, for sure. He makes everybody look better. He can make Alan Davis look better. So yeah, but this is great.
I thought you were going to say he can even make Alan Davis look good.
No, even better. Alan Davis is phenomenal. Alan Davis is one of my favorite artists. He doesn't make my top 5 X-Men artists though.
We'll get to Alan Davis in a minute.
But what's that?
We'll get to Alan Davis in a little bit.
No, that's true. I think I saw some Alan work in here now.
Oh, this next one's great.
Yeah.
This is like early 90s Lee Weeks Daredevil, which is where I first became aware of Lee Weeks. And I was like, where the hell did this guy come from? Because this is really good drawing. And we may have talked about this before. I've told this to Weeks to his face. I think a couple years ago, I saw him at a show and I was talking to him and I was like, you bother me. There's something about you that bothers me. And he's like, what's that? And he's like, you keep getting better.
Yeah, I really like, the work that he does at shows is fantastic. I mean, I've never asked him for a con sketch or something along those lines commission, but I'm always impressed. He's like a Steve Epting. Everything they turn out at a show is drop dead amazing.
That's a good comparison. They don't draw the same, but they have
exactly. They're
sensibilities.
They're professionals, and they care about what they put.
They're both kind of from that sort of like Alex Raymond school of drawing, like the wrinkles and the folds and the realism. But that sort of superhero realism, which is great. And the Daredevil figure, the drawing on this Daredevil figure, the musculature and the inking. This is inked by Al Williamson. So there's that. So you got Al Williamson, who's one of the greatest comic book artists of all time, doing just great work even into the 90s when he's, working on books that I'm sure Al Williamson did not care about at all. But he cared about the art. Williamson inked Daredevil for a long time. He inked Romita Jr. He inked this. So you got Ghost Rider and Daredevil and another big, not quite 2/3, but bigger than a half splash. Just fabulous drawings, great mood, great atmosphere, and yeah, Daredevil and Ghost Rider. It's cool. I got a little sketch from Weeks at around this time, just a tiny little Daredevil head. I'm happy to have that.
Nice. I'm thinking that you want to go watch the Nick Cage Ghost Rider movie now. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Me neither.
I didn't think I'd be going there this evening. So Jenny Frison, you got a Wonder Woman cover.
I've done forward about 40 years. So Frison, she's really, really interesting. I like the toned paper. I like the texture. A lot of like, it's all pencil, and I think there's ink wash. So it's not, it's all the grays is ink wash, or maybe a gray marker. I'm not 100% sure. And then the white paint to bring out the highlights. And what she would do, so she'd do these toned drawings that would then be given to be colored. But she would also do the outline, which I believe is also pencil. But so the outlines, what they would do is they would, you'd scan this, you'd color it over this, and then you lay the outline drawing over it to create the actual cover. And it's a really interesting way to work. But artists work how artists work to get the results that they want, and this is how she gets the results they want. It's pretty great drawing a Wonder Woman.
Yeah, everybody's got different processes these days.
Yeah, and there's no right or wrong way. The right way is whatever way gets you to the finished product that you want. And it's why people gave Quietly a hard time when he stopped inking his work, or stopped even having his work inked at all. It hasn't affected his prices, so there's that. But it's the end. The goal of an artist is to create the book that they envision in their head. And if the sacrifice of that is a bunch of annoyed art collectors, then that's really not the artist's problem.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. There's just too many methods for working today. A lot of artists are doing digital. Sure. Their layout's digital, and then they print it on the board, and then they ink over that, and then
but if that's the way to get it the way you want it, then that's the way to get it the way you want it. As long as it's not all digital, then there's nothing. And I mean, as a guy who sells and collects comic book art, I don't want art to be digital. But if that's how people work, that's how people work. And there's art that I thought was digital that isn't. There's art that I thought that was traditional that's digital. It's so hard to tell now anyway.
We've made a few notable mistakes when we've done our CAF update, picking our 10 picks and pick a digital piece in the past. It's happened 4 or 5 times, and it's always a gotcha moment. Because
I've talked to artists where I was convinced their work was digital. I thought Dustin Yen was painting digitally when I first read The Descender. Mm-hmm. And because the art is so clean, it's very precise and clean. With watercolor, where you think there's no way he can be doing this with real watercolors. You can't make any mistakes. But right. No, he's just that talented. It's annoying.
I agree. And AI is wrong, Marcus. We're not talking AI. We're just talking digital in general.
Yeah, no, we're not talking making computer art. We're talking artists using computers to create art. Not
exactly.
Not exactly.
Yeah, there's a difference. Even with that situation that you just mentioned, Marcus, that's something very different.
But I mean, do I wish Brian Boland still drew on paper? Of course.
Heck yeah.
But he hasn't. It's been 25 years since Boland drew his artwork on paper. But that was him being able to get the results that he wanted. And honestly, technology got to the point where you couldn't really tell the difference. And more John Byrne. Fantastic Four 236, so pretty early Byrne Fantastic Four. Pencils and inks by Byrne. This has got the whole team on this page fighting Sentinels, so you got Byrne drawing Sentinels, which brings you back to his X-Men days, and then the Fantastic Four. So this is 1981, so really relatively early Byrne at Fantastic Four. His inking here over himself is very tight, which is really nice. I'm a fan of Byrne inks, even later on when they get a little more expressive, but there's something really nice about these tight inking he was doing here. And, who doesn't love Sentinels?
It's Doombots, though. I saw it.
Oh my God, it is.
I didn't get to interrupt you, but yeah, this was the.
All right, I take it all back.
The Doom back. Yeah,
I resigned my position.
That's okay. They kind of look the same. They're just not as tall.
So, they do. Doombots are cool too.
Yeah, I think it's. Where did it say? I think Ben says something like, "Where is it? Boy, old Doomsy must have cornered the market on uglies."
What is I love this little stretchy Mr. Fantastic in the background of the bottom panel.
So that one's I see Marvel Van number. It's at $2,000 right now, Tom. So this is a great page, and like you said, early in the run, when Byrne took over, that last panel is pretty awesome. They're all great, but having the whole team on there is great.
Yep. And we got another page from the same issue. This one's also got the whole team on it, but way more stretching. So much stretching. Look at that second panel. Great. He's stretching, and then nice close up down here, and then trail from the torch. It's cool. Byrne was great at these sort of like environments. If I remember right, I think Byrne has a photographic memory, so he's really good at just being able to create realistic environments without laboring over it, like a lot of artists do, like I did when I was trying to draw comics. It's like backgrounds are hard because you got to make all that shit up. Excuse me. But Byrne it came naturally to him, and he would do, and through his whole career, he would go kind of fall back on these like downward 3/4 shots that were just so uniquely Byrne. You can always tell a Byrne comic from the downward 3/4. And it's a difficult angle to do perspective on. And he got really good at it. You kind of have it in the last panel. It's more pulled back more and it's outside, but go look at Byrne comics and look for the downward 3/4. It's a little stylistic tell for Byrne. But man, I love that second panel. Stretchy read.
Yeah, that's cool. Great issue, great page.
Yep.
Tom's trying to think about how he can get that other page though. He says he might have to send in something.
We encourage people to it's the old buy now, pay later. So we will take consignments to pay for purchases. We do it. I'm happy to do it. I want people to be able to get the things that they want, and if that means you gotta, give up something that you already have to pay for the thing that you want, then that's totally fine by me. So anybody wants to reach out to me to talk about that in advance, I'm happy to. My email is just my name and then the letter S at comicconnect.com. Phone number for the office is available on our website. I'm here most days. I'm happy to talk to anybody ahead of the auction if they want to try to figure it out. Thank you. To try to figure out a way I want people to get things that they want. And I will work with people to figure out how to make that happen.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So 26K, what page? Sorry, I'm looking at the comments.
Oh, I was not looking at the comments. I don't know. A page from this issue. Yeah, I don't know. What must have been like a title page or something.
I would hope that's a big number.
Huh. I'll do some searching in my market data while we're chatting here. But interesting. 236.
That is interesting. Yeah, I try to pay attention to these things.
Yeah, issue 26. Yeah, that was wow. It was on the 19th or on the 15th. So okay, so it was just last week. Huh.
At Heritage.
Yeah. Oh, that page. Oh, the thing transformation.
Oh.
Okay. Do you know that one? I mean, nope. And I just decided to.
I didn't realize it was the same issue.
Yeah, I didn't either. I had no idea. I got to switch my camera back over to this other one.
Yeah,
I've been having some flaky
viewers during our show.
Ever since I came back from Hawaii, this darn thing has been giving me fits, and I'm about ready to chuck it out.
Telling you to go back to Hawaii.
I feel like I should, but no, it's technology has not been my friend of late. This thing's been giving me a hard time, but I'll get it worked out. You just have to talk to the Dueling Dealers logo, and I don't even know how to change that. There is no reason on earth why it shows a Dueling. I can't figure it out. It should be a comicartlive logo, but it won't show.
Yeah, it's all
good. I look like a record. Anyway, here, let me close this.
It does look like a record. All right, more Byrne. We'll get to that one. I want to.
I'm sorry.
I want to stay on Byrne for a minute, just while we're.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
This is cool. So this is a pinup from the Marvel Handbook. It's from the deluxe edition from 1986, 86, 88, 86. It's just a great, big, full image of the early Kirby Hulk by Byrne, and it's awesome. Inked by Rubinstein, as I think pretty much all the Marvel Handbook pieces were. But it's cool. I got to show this to Joe in San Diego. And I don't know if you've never had a chance to talk to Joe Rubinstein. He is an endless supply of information. And he can identify inkers just from looking at the thickness of a brushstroke. It's remarkable. Because he's seen everything. He's been around for a long time. But this is a pretty great, early Hulk by Byrne. I would love this. And I have a Byrne Marvel Handbook piece, and I would love this one to go with it. The one I have is technically also the Hulk, but it is the earlier Hulk from the early 60s, the Zemnu the Titan, the first Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
But this one's cooler.
Well, it is. It's very nice. So, I'm trying to load up the page so I can see where it's at currently.
That's at like 1,500, something like that. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. And yeah, I'm back just with my other camera now.
Hey.
And a reminder: the email address for Micah is on the screen for anybody who has questions about future potential consignments to pay off items from this auction or other. Yeah.
A couple more Byrne pieces to talk about real quick.
Okay.
Got a nice splash page from the first Superman Batman Generation series. This is 1999. So you got, I haven't read this comic in a long time, but I think it's Batman. It's somehow I don't know if this is the Superman Batman Generations, for people who don't know, it sort of takes the idea of Superman and Batman and moves it forward generationally. So you're dealing with the children and grandchildren of Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent. So I'm not 100% sure which Superman this is, the first series. So this might be Clark Kent, just an older and aged up Clark Kent. But it's really, if you haven't read this, there are 3 Superman Batman Generation series that Byrne did. And I really enjoyed them. But what do I know? But I like Byrne Superman, so I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for John Byrne Superman. And I love the way he draws Batman mostly in silhouette. He's been doing this since the 80s, drawing Batman this way, with just like what lines to define, just wrinkles or just move, or they could leave like this symbol exposed or just the little things. But Byrne used solid blacks really well, and still, for my money, draws the best Superman. Sorry, all the other Superman artists. Superman always looks like John Byrne drew him to me. And then lastly, we have a page from Wolverine number 20, Byrne and Klaus Janson, which was a team that I really liked. I've owned pages from this run. I kind of wish I still had them. Janson is an interesting inker, and he's kind of always puts his own spin on whatever he's doing, but at the same time retaining the feeling of the penciler. So it's got a great. It's both worlds. It's clearly Byrne and it's clearly Janson, and that's difficult to do. And I love this run. It's only a few issues, but I remember liking it when they came out, and they were just fun. I like those early Wolverine comics, the regular series. The first 20, 25 issues of that series are really good. All right. Wait, one more Byrne.
I want to say, Jeremy Amato said, thank you for the tour of Metropolis. So.
Happy to. Anytime anybody wants to come see our offices, I'm happy to show people around and show off the art on the walls here. It's fun. So this is a convention drawing by Byrne from 1980 of Guardian from Alpha Flight. This predates the Alpha Flight having their own series, which is cool. Nice full tight pencils. Signed by Byrne, 1980. So it's cool. Nice little full figure Guardian for you fans of Alpha Flight. I like it. All right, now we can get back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yes, we can.
Now we can get to Sam Keith, right? Sam Keith.
Yes, I'm switching over here right now myself. So here, let me press. Where is that? Okay. Here we go. And over here. That's the right tab. There it is. All right.
So it's commissioned. I don't know when it's from, but a nice full painted, ink and paint commission of Batman by Sam Keith, who's doing what Sam Keith does, which is making superheroes look cool. Keith's Batman, Keith's Wolverine. I love Keith's Ghost Rider. That stuff he was doing back in the late 80s, early 90s on the Marvel Comics Presents. And the Batman stuff he did was later, but it's still, he still can't shake his Frazetta influence. It's a big exaggerated drawing with these like real fine, beautiful brush lines. I've loved Sam Keith since I was 15. I think he's great. And this piece is cool.
Yeah, that is a nice. It's not. You said it's not dated though, right?
Not dated. It's probably from sometime in the last 15 or 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be sure. I don't think there's anything on the back. Nope. Nope. But man, I just like looking at Sam Keith's drawing. Just so.
No, I always do too.
So much like his beautiful brushwork. I find really intricate brush drawing hypnotic. It's like looking at like there's some class of looking at Foster or Raymond or these beautiful brush artists or beautiful cross hatchers. Like it's through fine line cross hatching is something that for me anyway, it's like joy. It's like Jack Davis or Charles Vess or Robert Crumb. Just really nice, detailed drawing without it becoming messy or sloppy, it's a fine line. And Keith is so good at it. I don't want to talk about him like he's not still great.
No, he still is, of course.
Yeah.
I saw 33 and a third media. Phil, you want to know who the inks were? That one was all Byrne, pencil and inks on that Superman page.
Yep.
All right. So where are we going from here?
All right. Next, I believe, is Andy Kubert.
Andy Kubert. I just had him on the show last Monday.
Yeah.
It's my first time I got to talk to him. So we've got an X-Men 25 page here.
Yeah, we had some pretty great success with Andy in our last auction with that Wolverine Deadpool double spread. That page lived up to expectations. And just a little teaser, stay tuned for the next one. The next auction might have another pretty special Andy Kubert piece in it, but not to discount this one. It's X-Men number 25, 1993. Andy from this time period of Andy. I love Captain Britain drinking tea at the bottom. It's just a good joke. Captain Britain drinking tea. And Nightcrawler is cool. These comics were fun. Maybe they'll bring them into the X-Men cartoon, the wildly popular X-Men cartoon that I have not finished watching. I have started and I enjoy it, but there's only so much time in the day. Quickly, another Andy from the Marvel. Some Series 5 of the Marvel Universe trading cards from 1995. This is the Sabretooth card by Andy. And then the back of the card with a nice shot of that whole X-Men team. So you got all the X-Men down at the bottom with Sabretooth. Well, not all the X-Men. No Wolverine. But Gambit and Rogue and Bishop and that's Maverick and Beast and Professor X. And there's this fantastic Sabretooth over the top. Like that's a great for a trading card image, when you have a small space, you're drawing something that's going to be printed small, to get that much sort of feeling into it and sort of intensity. Really nice. And inks by Andy on this one. The X-Men page is inked by Matt Ryan. But this is nice. It's all Andy. Pencils and inks. Nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Wow. Right, that's going to go to a happy home, whoever gets that.
I hope so. What's next? What do you got?
I've got that Joe Mad X-Men.
Mad, or more X-Men from the 90s. This is Uncanny X-Men 325. It's a great Mr. Sinister page. Yeah, it's Mad, Joe Mad, and Tim Townsend. As if anybody else could think Madureira. I don't think Tim would allow it.
Probably not. They were a great team.
No, for sure. And again, we've talked about this before when talking about Madureira, but really almost single-handedly responsible for kind of meshing American comics and manga into sort of like what almost sort of kind of took over comic for a long time. Like that manga influence came in hard, but Joe Mad was first to sort of to work it into sort of mainstream superhero books. You had guys drawing in a manga style before who weren't Japanese, but not in the way that he did, which sort of then influenced guys like Chris Pachalo, who sort of worked the manga style into his work, and then playing, Humberto Ramos and guys like that really. And I'm not saying that they're stealing or taking anything from Joe Mad. It's just a pervasive style that was coming into the fore as manga became bigger and bigger and bigger. And, but he did it really well, and he did it first. This is 1995. But yeah, Mr. Sinister is cool, and this is a cool Mr. Sinister page.
Yeah, no, I like that. Never owned anything by Joe Mad. I'd be happy to own this one.
Yeah. And it's not going to go for as much money as a page that has Wolverine on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Ditko.
There we go.
This is twice up Ditko cover from Charlton's Ghostly Haunts. This is from 1972. I don't know if Charlton was still using twice up boards or if Ditko just asked them to, because I know Ditko, as much as Kirby didn't like the change from large art to small art, Ditko really didn't like it. So again, I don't know if Charlton was just still using large boards or not, but at the end of the day, it's a twice up Ditko cover with as Ditko-y a sort of spectral creature as you could ever imagine. There's not another artist who's ever drawn a comic who would even conceive of a character that looks like this. And it's just so uniquely Ditko. All the way Ditko uses blacks and shading and hatching, it's all, and the weird textures. I could go on about Ditko, but I think this cover's awesome. It does have a crease in the middle. It is what it is. It was there. Somebody folded this page at some point. It's unfortunate, but it's still beautiful. I love it. I love it. I do love it.
Marcus asked us, what is the creature's name?
What's his name? I think the story is I'll never forget what's his name. I have not read the story.
I haven't either.
I do not know if that's this creature or not, but let's say it is. I like it. I like it if it is.
Yeah, no, Ditko's style on this page is great. I mean,
it screams Ditko.
Wispy ghost, the heavy inks on the characters and the the bottom in the cemetery. It's perfect. I mean, Ditko drew what he liked to draw. And I think that's what's.
Actually, I don't know that that's true. I don't know that Ditko thought about it like that. I think Ditko drew what he was hired to do. I think he saw it making comics as his job, and did that job professionally. That was sort of, for better or worse, Ditko's kind of work ethic. The next job was always the most important. The old jobs, once they're done, that's why he never talked about Spider-Man. That was the past. Ditko was a weird man, but sincere. And sincerity goes a long way. I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit to cut a couple more Ditkos. Also from Ghostly Haunts. We'll get to Jusko.
Oh, yeah.
So a couple more pages also from Ghostly Haunts. That was the cover to issue 27. These are pages from issue 52, both from different stories. This, to me, is as perfect a Ditko horror page as I've ever seen. It's the shadows and the sort of hidden faces and just the sort of mask at the bottom. Like, I kind of want this page. It's another one. It just screams Ditko. it has a lot of the look of that sort of post-Spider-Man Ditko, the stuff he did for Charlton in the later 60s, and some of the stuff he did for DC, Creeper and Hawk and Dove. But I love the silhouetted face with the smoke and shining the lamp, like, you know, to take so you can't see his face. The hard lighting on these guys in the top. Yeah, it's good. And then this is from a story called Sleep of Ages. This next page is from a story called Please Stand By, which is about this is a funny premise, because I actually did look up what the story was about, because I was like, this page has clowns on it. So it's about a TV, like a kids TV show, and there's this clown, Winky or something, I don't know, whatever. It's not terribly important, but the clown does something to annoy somebody, and then they switch out the like water in the squirt bottle with like poison or acid or something. So while filming the show, the clown gets murdered. This is Winky here getting a face full of poison or whatever. Oh, comics. We love them. But again, you know, there's a totally different side of Ditko, sort of a little more playful side, but no less horrific. It almost makes it worse. Like he's drawing it so fun, like a kid's comic, and then he just gets murdered. Murder. But another very cool 70s Ditko horror page.
No, that is a good page. Both that and the previous page, I think, are around $700 right now. So
something like that. I expect that to change. But those, and honestly, for better or worse, those pages are great. But it's a really good way to get, you know, affordable, and in the, you know, for whatever that means when art is concerned, Ditko art that's very, very good quality, but not going to cost you what a Doctor Strange or a Spider-Man is going to cost.
Yeah. No, you got to start somewhere. Just, you know, John Buscema worked in horror comics too. I mean, that's, I always tell people, if that's where you want to start, just to get an example, that's horror as a genre is a good place.
Horror comics, I imagine, are a lot of fun to draw, because you get to draw monsters and mood. All right, Jusko. This is Jusko's recreation of the 60s Iron Man corner box. That was originally by Kirby. So this is a little Kirby homage by Jusko. This was used as a variant cover to Invincible Iron Man #4 in 2016. And Jusko did a whole series of these corner box recreations that were used as variant covers. And this is one of my favorites. Well, one, that's a classic Iron Man. The classic Iron Man suit is still the best Iron Man suit. The only thing that would make this better is if it had the pointy Ditko mask. But, you know, that's just splitting hairs.
Right.
But, you know, the classic Iron Man suit is just a great design. And Jusko really does it justice. While keeping, you know, he keeps the Kirby elements. Jusko is real respectful of, you know, the classic artists, and because he loves them too. And so you have sort of his kind of take on, like, the Kirby kind of squiggles are present, even though it's done in a more representational way. I think this is a beautiful painting. I like it very much.
Yeah, his whole series of corner boxes was pretty amazing. You know, it was a great idea, and he killed it.
Yeah, I like it so much. I'm just going to keep it hanging out up here.
I like it too. Yeah, leave it up there. Put it in your office for the next 7 days. You can also feel like
whenever we have framed pieces in the auctions, we usually try to hang them in the office until they sell. Because that way we get to enjoy them. People who come to the office get to enjoy them. And honestly, it's an easier place to store them than trying to find someplace else. I got a nice frame piece in this weekend in Baltimore that'll be in the next auction. We'll talk about that in a few months. I'm going to talk about a couple more Juskos while we're on Jusko.
Okay.
This is let's try. This is a werewolf by night.
Jusko actually posted about that.
Yeah,
so submission pieces to, what was it? Heavy metal, or I can't.
Yeah, so this was done in 1977, before he started working professionally, and this is one of the pieces that he used he would bring around to show people to try to get hired. And so apparently this was in his portfolio when he got his first professional job at Heavy Metal Magazine in 1977. That's really good. You know, when I first saw this, I was like, that has to be published. It's too good to not be published. But someday, because I've been, I like to reward Joe because he helps us out by, you know, been talking about the pieces on social media. So we've been supplying him with nice high quality scans of all these early pieces that we've been getting, so he can do something with them if he ever so chooses. This is a really strong one. It's really nice. You can see Joe is looking at Wrightson, but doing a really good version of it. It's, you know, he's probably 17 years old, give or take, and most artists never get this good. It's annoying. Nice piece and big. And from even older than that, this one is undated, but it's probably 2 or 3 years earlier. It's Vampirella by Jusko, when he was still in high school. Right in the back of this one, sometimes they have like notes from his art teachers on the back, which is hilarious.
I think Joe was the popular guy in school, you know?
Yeah, well, I think if you could draw a pretty sexy Vampirella when you're 14, I think you'd be popular. But it's nice. It's another one. It's not as polished, obviously, as some of the others, but it doesn't look like the work of a 14-year-old.
Right.
It's quite nice. And you know, this is probably like 1975, give or take. Vampirella, drawing Vampirella in 1975 makes a lot of sense, and especially with the kind of comics I'm sure Jusko was reading. I'm sure he was reading all those Warren magazines.
Oh heck yeah.
Clayman. So this is the cover to Batman Catwoman #3. This is Tom King's follow-up to his Batman run, sort of finishing up his Batman story. So what's cool about this cover, aside from the Clayman just being a very, very good artist, and also Tom King being a very, very good writer, this issue, I don't know if it's this issue, or I know the series is, but it might be this issue, is the first appearance of Phantasm from the animated Mask of the Phantasm movie in main Batman continuity. So the Phantasm before Batman Catwoman had only appeared in the sort of Batman animated comic books, but this brings the character into main Batman continuity. It's a really nice split image with Catwoman and Phantasm. I'm a big fan of both Tom King and Clayman, and yeah, this is a beautiful cover, signed by Man in the image and by Tom King down at the bottom. I may have, persuaded him to do that because Tom's a good guy.
He is. I've heard Tom King is a little bit of an art collector too. So.
He is a little bit of an art collector, and he collects some very interesting things.
He does, yeah.
But no, really, really good guy, really personable and funny. And, he roots for all the wrong sports teams, but what are you going to do?
Nobody's perfect, man. I root for the Browns.
Nope.
I don't even want to go there.
You probably root for the wrong sports teams too. You're from Ohio.
Exactly. I still root for the Guardians or the Indians.
Yeah, as you should. You should root for. You shouldn't change your.
It's kind of hard.
What are you
Florida start rooting for the Devil Rays, whatever they are, Devil Rays,
or the Marlins.
Marlins. Yeah, can't do it.
No, you root for the team you root for. You don't put in all those years to change teams because you move.
Well, I'm not that kind of fan.
Me neither.
But here we were talking about Alan Davis earlier. The Excalibur page right here.
That's the page from the Excalibur Special Edition, the first Excalibur book. This is I forget the name of the villains. It's in the thing. It's got a bunch of werewolves. So no Excalibur members, but a nice, and honestly, a good way to get a page from this book because they are not inexpensive. This one will likely go for less than one that has, the actual team on it. But I still expect this page to do pretty well because Excalibur Special Edition is a great comic. I read it over and over again when it came out. I was 14, I think, when Excalibur started, and I thought it was great. Love Alan Davis. Love this series. So we've had a few of these in the past. So the book is credited to Davis and Neary, I believe. But some of the pages, and you don't notice till you see them, some of the pages on the back, there's a little note that says, pencils and inks, or this page, Alan Davis inks, and that's Alan Davis's handwriting. So he inked a handful of the pages and made notes on the back on the ones that he did. So this page is all Davis, which I think is cool. I think it's a nice thing to have, you know, the unusual feature of pencils and inks by Davis. He didn't do that very often. And again, from a great comic and drawn large for some reason. I don't exactly know why he did it. Only the special edition was drawn large. It was, you know, a prestige format book, but it was normal comic size.
Right.
But bigger art gives you more art. A couple more Excalibur pieces I want to talk about while we're talking about Davis.
All right, I'll switch back.
I'll do the complicated one last. We got a page from Excalibur 49 with, you know, a good chunk of the team on it. Captain Britain and Kitty, Rachel, and Nightcrawler. Nice. Trying to see, is there Lockheed in here? No Lockheed. But you got the Lighthouse, which is cool. You got the whole team. I love Alan Davis. I love this comic. And then a page from 67, again with a good chunk of the team. We got Iron Man. You got some Avengers on here, I think. But yeah, nice, more just Alan Davis Excalibur action. Good stuff. These pages are both inked by Farmer. Yeah, so Neary started Excalibur, Farmer took over somewhere along the line. But yeah, just a lot of fun. A lot of fun in this comic. Good characters. You know, any comic with Kitty Pryde and Nightcrawler in it is going to be okay by me. So okay, so this one's a little weird. So this is the cover to Excalibur 66. Did I put the image of the published cover in the listing?
I am trying to. I'm gonna find it right now. I apologize.
Because it's hard to get a sense of what this is until you see what it became.
Right. I'm working on it. Sorry.
Right.
Just start talking and I'll pull it up.
Because right now it looks like a whole lot of weirdness. It's almost like a connected dots image. So before computers, when you wanted things to be different colors, you had to draw them all separately. So what Davis did on this cover was create a bunch of images that would be printed not in black. So this is the black layer with the title stat on it, and then each other layer was printed in a different color. So this is yellow. This is white. So these black lines would print white. Then this layer is blue, and this layer is red, and they would all be sort of superimposed over each other to create the cover as printed. And this one, the yellow layer is just a great image. That one, it's fantastic. Very dramatic and dark. It's almost like a Steranko image with, you know, with the concentric circles and the eyeball in the middle and the sort of like even the expression. Yeah, a lot of work.
Oh, I thought maybe you might have the published cover here so we could see what, you know,
tomorrow I'm going to throw an image of the published cover into that listing so people can get an idea. But if you can find one real quick and show it, that'd be great.
I was, you're going right where I'm trying.
I can pull it up on my phone and just hold it up to the camera.
I just want to make sure I get the, that was issue 66.
66. But so the consigner of that piece, we've had it for a little while, and we've been trying to figure out how to market it. It's a difficult piece, you know, because it's not traditional comic art the way you think of it. But what it is a really great example of a, yeah, there you go. So like what is basically an antiquated printing techniques. So you got the black, red, yellow, blue, and then the white layer. So the green is created by the yellow and blue overlapping. The purple is created by the blue and the red overlapping. So you get these great, sort of almost like traditional printing techniques. That's how like screen printing works. And you know, doing this now, you wouldn't even have to draw those circles. You could just create those circles all digitally. Like I'm sure that with a page with the Just all the circles on it has like a dot in the middle from a protractor, because of how it's the only way you could do it, and it's these techniques that are becoming lost to time. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so where's how was that auction doing? I didn't even look to see where it was at.
It's doing all right.
Well, it's got to start. It's an Alan Davis cover. The thing is, it's always tough, as collectors. We look at stuff sometimes, and it feels like work, and other times it's just like, you know what, I don't care if it's on 3 pages. I'm going to take it.
And I think everybody has an understanding that it's going to affect its final value. But at the end of the day, it's still an Excalibur cover by Davis, and it's really interesting. Maybe not the easiest fleece in the world to display. I'm really doing a great job of selling it. But I think it's more interesting when you know what it is and why. Right?
Exactly. Oh yeah. No. I've got a Brian Hitch cover here that's really cool, but it's 2 drawings, right? It's like a reflection. Right. And it's like,
but 2 drawings is different than 5.
It is 2 different, but it's like you have 2 finished drawings, and it's like you merge together in one. It's still harder to kind of like sell it, right? Because you look at it and say, this is 2 drawings. This is like 2 covers, but people look at it and say, wow, it's you know what I mean. There's just that disconnect. It's like, well, how you can't? I don't get. I want it on one, but maybe whatever.
I'll be less damn picky.
Exactly. We collectors, well, that's just it. As art collectors, we all are.
The longer you do it, the pickier you become.
True. So what do we got here? Marvel Treasury. Now this is not many of these pages come up too often.
No, we've been lucky enough to have a few of these over the past couple years, and I'll tell the story again about what Contest of Champions started out as. Mm-hmm. So. Contest of Champions was published in 1982, but was created in 1980 for the Olympics.
Yep.
And it was supposed to be a treasury for the Summer Olympics in 1980. And then, again, this is the thing. It's almost 45 years ago. People forget, but the Americans did not participate in the Summer Olympics in 1980 because they were in Moscow. And so the Marvel decided not to publish a treasury highlighting an Olympics that the Americans were not participating in. So then the book kind of sat for a little while and then was repurposed and expanded to become the Contest of Champions, which was the very first comic book miniseries. And some of the pages, not this one, some of the pages you can actually see where they've whited out parts of the image that reference the parts that kind of reference the athletes in the Olympics, because that's kind of what it was. It was about superheroes rescuing a bunch of athletes, and they had to change all that. But this is from what became Contest of Champions #2. It would have been part of the whole one treasury, but became issue 2. That's why it says Marvel Treasury Edition up at the top. And this is a nice, Daredevil and Iron Fist, Black Panther and Iron Fist, and Invisible Woman. Oh, no, it is Daredevil. My bad. You got Daredevil using his radar, which is always fun. And early Romita Jr., it's cool. And, Pablo Marcos. No, these pages are great. They're very rare. And Contest of Champions is really well remembered, even for, not being what it was originally intended to be. And kind of historic for being the first ever comic book miniseries. It's a lot of fun.
I bought them up.
I think honestly, you could Contest with Champions probably led to things like Secret Wars and DC's Crisis and all these big sort of heroes all coming together miniseries that all came up, a few years later.
I agree.
All right, Gene Colan,
Cap 134 Splash.
Yeah, so Cap 134. So that's the very first issue of Captain America, where the title is Captain America and Falcon. So it's the splash page to the first issue after the title change. So you got Cap and Falcon and Red Bird, and they're all being attacked because they seem to get attacked a lot. And just Gene Colan doing Gene Colan, all the exaggerated poses, and Colan's another one of those guys where you can tell you can tell just from the positioning of figures when Gene Colan drew a page. And he did things that other artists didn't even think to do with perspective and foreshortening and just sort of like exaggerated, you know, almost unnatural poses that aren't natural but are good for drawings, which is kind of what comic books are so good at. It doesn't matter that something can be done. It matters if it looks cool. And Gene Colan was really good at making things look cool. So this is a really beautiful splash page. This is 1971. So, yeah, really nice page. Really great images, the Cap and the Falcon. Just, yeah, beautiful piece by Gene. And I'm gonna.
It's a great composition.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I think it's fabulous.
Wow.
I love those. The Captain America comics from the 70s were a lot of fun, and there's a lot of good art in them. And this is one of them. It's a nice, you know, a lot of different artists worked on Captain America. You have Sal Buscema and Gene Colan, and Kirby came back. There's a lot of cool stuff. Good one.
Now, Mark Teixeira.
Yeah, this is a splash page to Mark Teixeira. This is from the from X-Men number 10, from the the Jim Lee X-Men relaunch. So it's the backup story from X-Men 10, featuring Maverick, and this is a pretty great splash page. Mark's a good artist, and it shows here. He's another guy, very painterly. Mark's, even when he's drawing in ink, it's painterly. And I've watched him do it, and even watching him draw, it's like watching a guy paint with a pencil. It's very interesting. He does a lot of shading and then wiping away and then adding and taking away, like a painter would do.
Mm-hmm.
So this is it's a pretty cool splash. A second appearance of Maverick in today's show. And oh my God, it's 10:30. So we're gonna move faster.
Yeah, we are. Sorry, I haven't really been paying attention to the time, but yeah, let's do that. We got a Sal Buscema Defenders.
One more Teixeira. This is from
Teixeira.
That's okay. This is Teixeira from A+X, and I don't know how that title's supposed to be said out loud, but it's Thor and Magic, which is really nice.
That is a nice page. I didn't see that one when I was going through the auction today. Wow.
Teixeira. There's another. I think there's another Teixeira in the auction as well. So yeah, Sal Buscema is the splash page from Defenders 119. Great page, whole team on it. Yeah, Hellcat and Hulk, Submariner. It's just great. 1983. Sal Buscema, inks by Jack Abel. Nice Defenders splash page. Got this is Sal Buscema, inks by Walt Simonson. This is Incredible Hulk 260, and Simonson only inked this page. This is the only page of the issue that Simonson inked, and it's very, very clearly Simonson inks. Very cool.
Wow. Yeah.
And speaking of artists whose work is hard to get, Walt Simonson.
Doesn't get any more difficult than that.
Nope. Another Sal Buscema, Captain America 222. Captain America fighting the statue of Abraham Lincoln. The beautiful, painted Usagi Yojimbo drawing from 1987. A really nice, over 35-year-old painting of Usagi by Jan Sakai. Beautiful. Beautiful piece.
Wow. I didn't even realize. I didn't check the age on that. 1887. Wow, that's crazy. Huh.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
You don't see too many pieces from that era out there.
No, especially when this finished. Usually you see little black and white, drawings from that time period, but I don't know if I'd ever seen a painting from that time period.
No. Wow, that's fantastic.
We
need to publicize that more for you.
Yeah.
I love seeing rare artwork like that. That's phenomenal. Okay.
Nice. So Walter McDaniel, this is the cover to Deathlock number 24. I love so Deathlock is reflected in the knife in the cover. Really nice composition. It's just a cool 90s Deathlock cover. I mean, a whole lot more to say. It's really nice. The classic, the reflection on swords or claws, for example, is a classic comic book, kind of trope, and it works, which is why people do it.
Mm.
I really like this one. It's really well done. And got another cover. This is Mark Bagley.
Yeah.
This is the cover to one of the armed forces comic books created for the armed forces for military bases. So this is so that's why the title is weird. But it's a really beautiful Captain America drawing by Bagley and Scott Hanna. Just a great heroic sort of charging into action Captain America, kind of fitting for Cap. It's what he does. Cap doesn't care if it's dangerous. Cap cares if he is needed. And this really shows. And I think for the military, I think that makes a lot of sense. I imagine this is popular.
Mm-hmm.
But really nice drawing from Bagley, and really, really, really nice composition. That's a pretty image. Page from What If 105. This is got a lot of Green Goblin, but What If 105 is special because it's the first appearance of Spider Girl, the Mayday Parker Spider Girl, and it's Sal Buscema. I'm sorry, not Sal Buscema. This is Ron Friends with inks by Bill Sienkiewicz, which is also very cool. A great image of Green Goblin down at the bottom and at the top. Good Green Goblin page. Very beautiful drawing by Friends and Sienkiewicz.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Oh, now we're going to get into some things. Now this is going to take a minute because this is special. So this is the cover prelim to Captain Marvel Jr. number 31 by Mac Raboy. And Raboy, who was, I don't know if creator is the right word. I don't really know how that work was sort of divvied up in the Golden Age, but Raboy is, basically why Captain Marvel Jr. is so good. And he's, for me, for my money, maybe one of the 3 best artists of the Golden Age, like as far as from a draftsman standpoint. And this is the prelim to his final work for Fawcett. So, and he didn't finish the finished cover. He started the final cover, but quit Fawcett before he finished it. And most Fawcett work, nearly everything from Fawcett didn't survive. And this piece survived because it was in the collection of Wendell Crowley, who was one of the sort of executives at Fawcett. And it is published in this form. It's published in one of the volumes of Steranko's History of Comics from the 70s. Raboy Captain Marvel Jr. art is absurdly hard to find, like absurdly hard. There's almost none. There's some finished covers out there, but 3 or 4, very few. Mm-hmm. And this is it's a classic Raboy image. He did a lot of these sort of floating, flying figure images, sort of one of his trademarks. And it's even in the rough form, it's identifiably Raboy, the beautiful earth in the background. It's really, this is a privilege to be able to have this piece. And I want more people to pay attention to it because it's special. And then the last piece of art he did for Fawcett, where he, made his name, and then he left Fawcett and went and did the Green Llama for a handful of issues, 10, 12 issues, something like that. And then he went on to do what he would do for the rest of his life, which was draw the Flash Gordon Sunday comic. This one here is the last one. This is the last Flash Gordon Sunday by Raboy. It's from 1967. It was published like 4 days after he died. And they published December 17th, 1967. I think he died on like the 13th or 14th, something like that. So you have, a piece from early in his career, and then the very last piece of art he created that was published. These things don't come around, and their significance is important. I don't like, to overstate things. I don't like to be, hyperbolic, but, this is the last piece of art by one of the greatest artists in comics ever. And that's special.
Yeah. Well,
Took me a long time to find everyone.
It's such a fine style at the end of the day. When
Really
it is inking. I mean, it's if you haven't seen one of those in person, you're missing out.
Absolutely. And this is, yeah. No, it took me years to finally get one. I finally got one last year. Yeah. People who know me have known me for a long time know I've been looking for a Revoy for 25 years. All right, so we have Marshall Rogers, Silver Surfer. This is Mantis. Cool Marshall Rogers Silver Surfer page. Silver Surfer number 5 from 1987. Great work from Rogers. Big fan of Rogers. Love his. There's like a fluidness to Marshall Rogers that's really pretty, and this is a really nice page. So, Mantis, Silver Surfer number 5. This is Art Adams' prelim to Classic X-Men number 10. I believe the final cover had a different design, but this is one of Adams' concept prelims for Classic X-Men 10. And any Classic X-Men art by Art is awesome.
Agreed. I helped free that.
What's that?
Said I helped free that one. From,
oh, did you really?
Yes. It was at a certain dealer's home. So,
Nice.
but yeah, a very cool piece to see.
A certain dealer who maybe lived in Ohio or lived in Ohio. A certain dealer with a proclivity for Hulk costumes, maybe?
Yeah, that might be the one.
Got a Cable sketch cover by Stephen Platt. A really nice, like intricate, full, like he's taken up almost his entire cover.
That is awesome. And that's recent. That's within a year old.
Still got it.
Platt's been killing it, going to the show the last 18 months or so. Yeah, he's still got it.
No, I think I saw somebody posted something today that they got from him in Baltimore this weekend. It was also great. Like a Wolverine, still just fantastic. He's still great. Still Stephen Platt. Yeah. And then another one here of Moon Knight. Another Platt sketch cover of Moon Knight. Also cool. Moon Knight, I think, more definitively associated with Platt, but the Cable one is quite nice. All right, I got this one's going to be a minute to talk about too, because this one involves, has got some explaining. So this is from Betty Page Comics. This is a one-shot of short stories from 1996. So this story was drawn by Russ Heath, except for these two Betty figures. These two Betty figures here were drawn by Dave Stevens, and they're stunning. You can see like this. Stevens basically oversaw the Betty Page one shot and drew the title panel for this story and the big Betty close-ups. So I mean, if you look at the bottom one, that is quintessential Stevens right there. I mean, you can see the fine lines and the detail and the smoothness and the softness that Stevens would bring to his inking. And not that Russ Heath is any slouch. Russ Heath is pretty great, but it's the Stevens Bettys that make this page special. Signed to the bottom by both of them, and yeah, I like this joke at the top. This Klaatu Barada Ditko. This is a bunch of aliens are trying to abduct Betty to, like, she thinks it's a movie set, but it's a bunch of aliens, a bunch of real aliens. And yeah, it's just.
I've always wanted to get a Russ Heath page. This might be the one.
There you go. It's got Dave Stevens on it. It's like bonus Dave Stevens on your Russ Heath page.
Exactly.
But really, really beautiful Bettys. I mean, by Dave. The great, I like the different expressions are wonderful. It's just Stevens. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot to say about Stevens that hasn't been said. There's a movie about it. But yeah, unfortunate that we didn't get more from him, not helped by the fact that he was aggressively slow. But what he left us was fabulous. And it's a beautiful example, which just briefly, I want to touch on John Cassaday, because we lost John Cassaday last week, and that's a tough one because I was a big fan, and he was a good guy and a really, really talented guy. And it's always shocking when these things happen so suddenly. And I know that for people who knew him better, it's really tragic. So I just wanted to say something about John, because you know, it's sad when people leave us and you wonder what have we lost? What has the art world lost from this? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I do, of course.
And he's very close to an age to me, and I don't care for that either.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, I lost my brother about the same age, and it's always shocking to
and out of nowhere seemingly, which is you know, it's even worse because you don't have that sense of preparedness. You know, just like, wait, what happened? What? When I first heard it, I was like, that can't be right. But let's move on.
Yeah, but at least in Baltimore, they, you know, because he'd been to several Baltimore shows. They had a nice.
He was supposed to be there this year.
Yeah.
Albert had his banner, his like show banner up as a memorial, and that was very nice. It was a really.
Yeah, I saw pictures of that. No, it is what it is. Albert was very close to him, obviously.
No, I know, and they were really. I knew several people who were close with him, and it's just awful. And now to move on to something, I think this is a good segue from something sad to this very, very fun Larry Lieber Tales to Astonish Wasp page. It's so undeniably charming.
It's an end page too.
What's that?
It's an end page as well.
It is an end page.
We have many collectors that get the end page.
Yeah, can't get the splash page, you get the last page. But great, yeah, it's a great another early Marvel twice up page by Larry Lieber. Stan's brother, who got much less regard. But still with us, Larry Lieber still hanging on. You know, good for him. This page is a lot of fun. It's Larry Lieber with inks by George Russos. I love this fish man ripping his mask off. I love the wistfulness of the wasp in the last panel. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's very nice.
The picture of charm.
Twice up.
Yup. All right, let's burn through some more.
All right. I'm going to switch over to you. I'm going to let you speed.
So it's Jim Starlin. This is Jim Starlin from Epic Illustrated number 14. This is the splash page to the story Messiah, drawn massively edge to edge on this 15 by 20 board. Just space mayhem from like peak Starlin. I mean, it's just peak Starlin crazy. This is a beautiful, beautiful splash. Just space chaos. It's bloody. It's gruesome. It's violent. It's wonderful. It's really big. Again, edge to edge. Starlin was not fooling around. Great piece.
That's from 1982.
82, yeah.
42
Bruce Timm's, nice little Black Panther. This was drawn in 2020. It's titled by Tim. It says August 2010, Wakanda Forever. So this was drawn very soon after Chadwick Boseman died. So this is Tim's tribute to Chadwick Boseman, which is it's beautiful. Another Tim. This is Voodoo from the Wildcats. Kind of unusual subject for Tim, but really pretty. It's got some background in it. It's got, I like got a lot of compositional elements. It's Kirby Crackle. I love the way he drew her hair. Really nice Tim piece. This is a 15-page story by Rich Buckler from Epic number 29. The story is called A Matter of Vengeance. I believe it's written by Archie Goodwin and drawn by Buckler with beautiful ink wash. You can see all the pages on the website, but a nice complete 15-page story by Rich Buckler. Got a Batman and Man-Bat commission from Kelly Jones. And Kelly Jones doing what Kelly Jones does, which is draw all the wrinkles in Batman's cape. But really beautiful drawing. Great great choice of characters, Man-Bat and Batman. Like, that's, what else would you want Kelly Jones to do? Really pretty. I'm going to try not to go too long, so let's try to get through this as quickly as I can. Then a Supergirl page from Jim Mooney from Action Comics number 304. This is 1963. Great twice up Jim Mooney Supergirl. So this is a wonderful twice up Joe Kubert. This is from All American Men of War number 52. This is from 1957. Really great example of early Kubert War of comics. This is, great. It's great. Another Kubert going back even farther. This is a Kubert from 1944. So this is from Speed Comics number 32. This is the Black Cat story. Very early Joe Kubert. And I think it's great. I love the way he drew Black Cat different from other artists. That's kind of how you identify it as Kubert. Really, really nice early kind of golden age, really early golden age work from Kubert. Very cool. Jumping forward 40 years or so. Don Perlin Transformers is Transformers number 28. The nice page, a lot of robots, a lot of transforming robots. That's what they do. Yeah, great Transformers page by Perlin. There's that more Wally Wood that I promised. This is from Thunder Agents number 2. This is from the Dynamo story, Thunder Agents 2. So you got Dynamo and the man designed to destroy Dynamo, Dynavac, because comics.
Exactly. That is a good page, though.
But I do love the work that Wood did for Thunder Agents, and I think they're underappreciated. I've been a fan of Thunder Agents for a long time. I just think that really, again, they're just wacky and fun, and a lot of great artists in Thunder Agents. We got Ditko did work in Thunder Agents. Just some good stuff. Michael Cho, the wonderful Michael Cho Batwoman cover. This is Batwoman number 17. I love the way his originals look. I love his use of spot color. Just, I think Michael Cho is he's as good a graphic artist as comics have right now. Just really strong graphics. And even we were talking earlier, I mean, his little drawings are just remarkable. A lot of confidence in the drawing. It's got the cover to Avengers, this series, Avengers 53, Legacy number 468, by Kieran Dwyer. Nice graphically designed cover with the Avengers sort of in the sword. So we got Cap and Iron Man, Cap, whoever the hell these characters are, Vision, whoever was in the Avengers when this comic came out. But really nicely designed image. And Kieran Dwyer's a really talented artist. It's good drawing. That's good. Got a couple of John. Sorry?
I saw Tom, number one Marvel fan, was asking about the Defenders page we showed earlier. Or curious if it was a Defenders page. It was that one splash page, I think.
The splash page, Defenders splash by Sal Buscema.
I'm assuming that's the one.
Yeah, that would be the one. Just search for Sal Buscema. When you go to the auction on the side, there are the filters on the side. You can actually select artists and filter by artist. This is a John Buscema page from Thor 201. Buscema layouts, Jim Mooney finishes. Nice 2/3 splash. A lot of Thor wackiness. A lot of fun. I love Buscema Thor. There is some damage on this page, but unfortunate. But what are you gonna do? There's only one. Again, these things can be fixed if you're so inclined. Another Buscema. Oh, this is a Thor page by Alan Kupperberg. This is Kupperberg and Mooney. Really nice Thor page. Some great Thor images. Got a Ron Wilson page from The Thing number 5. Great big image of Wonder Man. And about to tackle the Thing. A lot of fun. Thing number 5 is a classic issue, beloved by a lot of people.
It is.
This is a really nice page. And speaking of the thing number 5, we have a recreation of the cover to the thing number 5 by Wilson, because we had the real one in our last auction, and now we have a recreation of it. And I'll give you 3 guesses why.
Yes.
Still cool. Next best thing, right?
Exactly. Such a classic cover.
Early Derek Robertson. This is the cover to Justice League Europe, number 35. Sort of like Stone Age versions of the Justice League there. The Martian Manhunter and Vixen, maybe. All sorts of fun characters, but real nice early Derek Robertson.
Yeah.
Inked by Romeo Tanghal.
I like it. You know,
I like it too.
I'm
sure I bought that comic when it came out.
Yeah. Huh. Very nice.
This is a Paul Galassi Master of Kung Fu. This is from Giant Size Master of Kung Fu number 2. Really nice. It's got that great Galassi layout. Like he was really interesting with his layouts. A lot of fun. Great kicking a guy in the middle panel. A lot of leaping and jumping and kung fu, if you will.
Yeah, that is a move seldom seen in the, the karate world, but it worked.
Yeah,
I always love. I mean, look at that Galassi and that inset panel at the bottom.
Yep.
You know, it's just fantastic. I really like Galassi's work. Gosh, that's a great page. That is a crotch shot, Marcus, but still, it's a phenomenal.
Yeah. Hey, what are you gonna do? Sometimes when you do some kung fu, people are gonna see your crotch.
Exactly.
Rick Leonardi, Silver Surfer number 129. It's a really nice Surfer Galactus page by Leonardi.
Oh,
a lot of Surfer, massive Galactus, a lot of fun. I love the Surfer in the middle. It's kind of like almost a reverse silhouette. Surfer on the board in the middle, Galactus sort of hovering above him. It's a really pretty page. And this is John Romita Jr. This is the variant cover to Eternals number 3. This is from the Neil Gaiman Eternals miniseries. Really beautiful full page image of Cersei from the Eternals. I mean, it's Romita Jr. I love John Romita Jr. It's a really pretty drawing. And it's like ridiculously inexpensive right now. So I couldn't even imagine a Romita Jr. cover staying as inexpensive as this is, but still a week to go. But beautiful drawing.
Plenty of time.
Yep. It's Rick Hoberg and Alfredo Alcala. This is from the Robin backup story from Batman number 381. It's like absolutely marvelous inking by Alcala on this page. Like, look at that. It's so good. So good.
That is a solid page.
Mike Plug page this is from Marvel Premiere number 38. This is Weird World. It's inked by Alex Nino. It's another really well inked piece. Nino's inking is always great. Plug is also always great. Yeah, and it's got really nice. You can see the Plug, you can see the Nino really strong. We get Byrne past the Invincible section of our auctions. We've got an Invincible commission from Ryan Otley. Nice color, really strong Invincible color commission. And then we have a page from Invincible number 39. The bottom panel was recycled from an earlier page, but really nice Invincible and Adam Eve page. And then another Invincible commission, this one from Corey Walker, the original Invincible artist. This is another one. This is the drawing's a lot of fun. I love that Invincible's costume is the Image logo. I think that was very clever. It's Brian Hitch. This is from Tales of the Dark Multiverse, Flashpoint, because comic titles don't have enough words in them. So it's like Batman and Reverse Flash. Very nice.
Yeah, he draws a great Batman.
He really does. Hitch draws great. Period. I don't know why he's not collected more, but I've been a fan of Hitch since at least the first Ultimate series and maybe even longer than that. A nice
Authority. Trying to get an Authority page.
I read the that's a good point. I read the Authority after I read Ultimates, but yeah,
I did
But
too.
no,
I hate to say it.
Authority is
I feel
fantastic.
like a dummy doing it, reading them in that order too. But what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Hey, as long as you read them, who cares what the order?
right.
The nice Ex Machina page by Tony Harris from
Yeah,
Brian
that's
Keown. Ex Machina, really great image of. It was a
Tony's
great
got such a
machine.
clean style. I mean, I've
He
always
really
admired his work. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and Ex Machina was a great comic. I really like that comic a lot. This actually might be time for a reread. I haven't read it since it ended. Another Tony Harris, a nice little portrait of Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. And Harrison Ford is notoriously one of the hardest likenesses to draw. He's got a very subtle face, and I think Harris captured him really well. It's identifiably Harrison Ford. It's not just a guy who looks like Indiana Jones. This is Justice League 112 by Dick Dillon, Justice League, Amazo, and Green Arrow, and Superman. Cool. 1974 Justice League. And let's see. It got Infantino page from Flash 116. This is from the Kid Flash backup. And Infantino doing double duty in the Flash back then, during the main story and the backup. You got a nice little Kid Flash backup, a nice little shot of him in costume. Is that another end page? You got those little Kid Flash in costume at the end.
Huh. Yeah, Infantino, he certainly ended up with a very different style, but I like those early DC pages. There's just something.
The early Infantino.
Where he ends.
No, for sure. Well, younger, artists evolve.
Mm-hmm.
This is a page from the Old Man Logan's story from Steve McNiven. This is Wolverine number 71. Really nice Old Man Logan page. I believe this is from where this is. I don't know exactly what city they're arriving at, but this is Wolverine and old Hawkeye arriving. I don't know if this is them arriving in New York yet. I think that's where, I haven't read that comic since it came out, but really strong page from a really, really good story. I mean, famously adapted, loosely into the Logan movie. Beautiful work from McNiven. These pages are very hard to find. Okay, we got some Will Eisners. So this is two paintings by Eisner that were created as concept art, sort of like showing what the spirits sort of should feel like from the mid 80s when they were working on a Spirit TV series that never got past the pilot stage. So the Spirit pilot, which was aired as a TV movie, but Eisner created these images for the show to show them sort of what the Spirit should kind of look like. In the show, the Spirit is played by Flash Gordon himself, Sam Jones. And I'm going to take that real quick. And Ellen Dolan was played by a Nana Visitor, famously from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And both of these are signed on the back by Sam Jones and Nana Visitor, which is kind of neat. Nice little artifact of
oh, cool.
Kind of a forgotten piece of Spirit history, but these things should be remembered. And they're watercolors by Will Eisner. I mean, who cares what they're for? They're amazing. And we have Eisner's color guide for the 60s Harvey Spirit #2, the cover. So it's Eisner himself did the color guide for the cover over a copy, but still original painting by Eisner. And this is an interesting piece. So this is a Spirit and Ebony. This was drawn by Eisner in 1945, and so in March of 1945. And what makes this so interesting is that in the March of 1945, Eisner was still in the military. This is before the end of the European, theater of World War II. And so Eisner would have drawn this while he was still in the military. And I am only aware of one other example of an Eisner Spirit drawing created while he was actively in the military. And Ebony, for better or worse, Ebony is Ebony. But forgetting his depiction, Ebony is a really great character. He's a really great sort of companion to the Spirit. Eisner regretted his appearance later on in life. It was the 40s. it's hard to defend, but it's, you know, it was the time. But you don't see these 40s spirit drawings by Eisner. It's history. It's a piece of history, and you can take what it is and remember where we've come from this. But it's still a beautiful drawing and incredibly rare. Very cool.
I haven't seen many from that period. It is special.
You know, even in the 45, he wasn't even drawing the Spirit comics in 45. All right, nice Thor Slash from Stuart Immonen. This is from Thor number 44 from 2002. And a couple of Gil Kane pieces. This is World's Finest 282. This is Gil Kane drawing the Marvel family in World's Finest. You got Mary and Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. Beautiful drawing from Kane, inking himself with real ink, not a magic marker. So that's a bonus. Got another Kane. This is from the Power of Shazam number 14. This is Kane inked by Mike Manley, but this is Captain Marvel Jr. from Power of Shazam. Really more beautiful work from Kane. This is like 10 years later, and still maybe more than 10 years later than the other one, but still beautiful drawing from Kane. Got this is a page from the Superman comic that was included with the Aurora model kit. This is from 1974. So this comic was drawn by Kurt Swan, and it was included exclusively with the Superman Aurora model kit, and that's cool. It's just a great early 70s Swan Superman page. It's wonderful. A couple of Gene Colan Tomb of Dracula pages. I believe these are consecutive pages from Tomb of Dracula 52 by Gene Colan and Tom Palmer, one of the best pencil or inker teams of the 70s. Mm-hmm. Beautiful work. And
I have a Doctor Strange page by the pair. They were incredible together.
A couple of ElfQuest color guides from when ElfQuest was first published in color in the early 80s. This colored by Wendy Pini, and the only real way to get Pini ElfQuest art, because she never sold a single page of that comic. Beautiful commission by Peach Momoko, just a lovely painting. And let's see.
Yeah, I can't keep up with you showing the images.
No, that's okay. It's all right. All right. I want to get to the things that I think are significant. The page from the very first Buffy the Vampire Slayer comic, the Buffy number 1, which is from 1998. I think Buffy was only in season 2 at this point. Really nice. You don't see these really ever. Joe Bennett from Buffy number 1. That's basically the whole gang on it, which is nice. This one I got to take out of its bag because it's amazing. So this is a page for you here, Bill. So this is Doctor Strange. This is from Doctor Strange number 381. This is by Gabriel Hernandez Walta, famously the artist of Tom King's Vision miniseries.
Right.
And this is amazing. So this is at this point, Loki is the Sorcerer Supreme. And this is, I mean, Walta is great, but this page is great even for Walta. The demons, the gray tones, the expression on Loki's face. I mean, and I mean, for anybody who's tried to find Vision pages, they are hard to find. I do have them, but it was very difficult. It took me a long time to find them. But I mean, this is incredible. Just really, really beautiful drawing by Walta.
What year was that?
I think there's going to be a time when I think people are going to kick themselves for not getting work from him. I think he's going to have. I think his work has legs. You know what I mean?
I do.
I think there's something special there. Let me just get to a few more things. It's a really interesting drawing of a Golden Age character called the Owl that I believe was never actually. There was an owl. It was created by an artist named Martin Bailey, who I was not familiar with. Golden Age artist. The owl was a character that was created and pitched and never picked up. There was a whole article about it in a magazine in the 80s, so it's known, but really interesting, rare Golden Age art by a Golden Age artist. Very interesting drawing. This is more Fawcett art. So this is the cover to Lance O'Casey #1. This Lance O'Casey kind of sprung out of Wiz comic. Lance O'Casey appears in the first issue of Wiz as one of the backup features. The story behind this cover is that the Lance O'Casey was originally slated to have his own series as early as 1942, but this wasn't published until 1946 or 40. I'm sorry. So originally 41 and then published in 46. So it's likely that this cover was actually created in 41. It's credited to Harry Anderson. It is possible that McElroy worked on this cover, but I don't know that with any certainty, but it is entirely possible that he was sort of a go-to guy at Fawcett around that time. But still cool. Like, again, Fawcett art almost completely lost, and just the covers especially very, nice, early Golden Age cover and a Fawcett cover, and it comes with a copy of the comic. This is Superman by Win Mortimer. This is from a Kellogg's giveaway comic. So this was printed like a track style. So each one of these would have been a single page of the book that would have opened like this. So it's 3 pages by Mortimer from a Superman comic that was given away by Kellogg's in 1955. Got this is Strange Adventures page by Harry Sharp. The Strange Adventures number 55. Just a lot of fun Silver Age science fiction. This is House of Secrets number 48. This is a 2/3 page, with an ad page. This is by Alex Toth. It's a great, Toth is Toth. Toth is instantly recognizable as Toth. You can tell kind of just from the shapes of things.
That is a good one.
This is the inside front cover to Vampirella number 29. This story was split inside front cover, inside back cover. It's a history of vampires by an artist named Bill Dubay. It's a really interesting technique here. There's some very, it's a style. So there's the overlay. The red is all on overlay. It's like a ruby lift overlay for spot gray tones because Warren magazine. But the drawing, there's a lot of scratching into the blacks. It's weird techniques going on here, but really pretty, really interesting. You got all the classic vampires. You got Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee, Count Orlok from Nosferatu. Really beautiful piece from a Vampirella from 1973. This is the painted cover from Heroic Comics number 76. This is 1952. This is by Harry Kiefer. So it's just cool painted Golden Age cover. Golden military cover. When it was published, it was flipped, but this is the original painting. Cool Golden Age painted cover. I'll burn through a few more things, and then we can call it. This, I think people are missing this in the auction because this is actually cool. This is from Marvel Team Up number 95. This is page 3. So this girl doing all this ass kicking here is Mockingbird. This is her first appearance. This is the first page where she does anything. The first 2 pages, she just looks like a normal person who's sort of walking, and then she gets attacked, and she makes them wish they had not done that. So yeah, very first appearance of Mockingbird. And I think that this is by Jim James and Bruce Patterson. But yeah, I feel like people are missing this. So first appearance of Mockingbird. Yes, Harry Anderson from Night Court. Sorry, I'm ever playing the comic.
I saw that. Yes.
So this is Stuart Immonen again. This is the cover and back cover to Essential Avengers Volume 2. You got a great shot of the Avengers here with Giant Man, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, Captain America, Wasp. And then the back cover, you get them all kind of in action. And that's cool. I love these kind of covers the books like that, where you sort of kind of get an overview in the just encapsulation of kind of what the book contains. And those essential Marvel books from early 2000s, really great books, great affordable ways to read a whole lot of comics. The great Captain America sketch by John Romita. Got Silver Surfer sketch from George Perez. This is likely circa 1980. Very nice early Surfer sketch by Perez. Another similarly time period sketch. This is Bill Sienkiewicz. And I actually reached out through Facebook to Bill to ask if he knew what this was, and he replied, and he said he thinks it was him sort of playing around with Edgar Rice Burroughs kind of themed characters. So he thinks he was kind of doing a little bit of John Carter, Tarzan kind of mashup. So, but either way, who cares? It's amazing.
Right.
Michael Lark is the cover to Gotham Central number 29. That's Killer Croc. Gotham Central, great comic. Let's see. Got a really pretty Batwoman page. This is from Batman Streets of Gotham. This is Dustin Yen. Beautiful page by Dustin. Got a really spectacular Wonder Woman page by Cliff Chang. Love Cliff Chang. Talked to him yesterday. Really nice page. And let's see. Spider-Man by Ryan Stegman. If you're interested in these pieces, go look on the website. You can see them better there anyway, just making people aware. Humberto Ramos. This is Superior Spider-Man. Nice Ramos action page. Tom Lyle from Venom Funeral Pyre.
Ramos is going to be at OAX, by the way, Micah.
Hey, there you go. Is that a scoop? Or is that already announced?
No, we did. Cool? We announced that a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
I thought I had a scoop. It's nice. Tom Lyle from Venom Funeral Pyre miniseries. A lot of Venom. And really nice Spider Girl page. This is Pat Olaf, inked by Al Williamson. Really nice drawing. Olaf and Williamson. Good images of Spider Girl. Infinity War page by Ron Lim. A lot of Spider-Man on there too. Infinity War. Nice work by Ron. Really beautifully designed Surfer page by Tom Grinberg. Really good. Yeah, I really love the layout and the design of this page. It reminds me of Trad Moore.
Yeah, it does have that vibe.
Another Surfer page. This is another Grinberg Surfer page. Mephisto Surfer. There's a lot more. So if, everybody should go look at the entire auction anyways. Another closing page. This is the last page to Wolverine 95, the Wolverine 95 special. This is J.H. Williams. So the final page is actually a mirror of the first page. It's the first page, Wolverine's in the costume. In the final page, he's feral and crazy, but it's basically the same pose, like a mirror image of page one, which is cool. More Wolverine. This is a 1987 drawing of Wolverine by Dan Atkins. Nice, tightly inked, finished Wolverine drawing by Atkins. Beautiful painted Batman page by Scott Morse. Underappreciated Scott Morse. Beautiful painting. A lot of Batman. Batman appears this is from the book Room Full of Strangers, which is mostly Commissioner Gordon stories. It's one of the rare pages that has Batman in it. Nice little Jeremy Bastion. Pirate Girl logo drawing. Talked to Jeremy yesterday too. Let's see. Assad Ribic, King Thor. Frank Brunner Kazar prelim. We got Tony DeZinga, Arak, Son of Thunder prelim. Got a Marie Severin color Submariner prelim. Beautiful Submariner prelim with the Doctor Strange in his short-lived masked costume. And a couple of nice Star Trek The Next Generation pages from the second issue of the miniseries. So the first Next Generation comics ever. So the second issue of Next Generation ever. Nice image of the Enterprise on this one. Well, the whole crew pretty much on both of them. And and Van Skyver Cyberfrog, which is from Cyberfrog number 0, 1997. The super hyper detailed Van Skyver Cyberfrog. And I think I'll close with this really cool Snot Girl page by Leslie Hung. Snot Girl, written by Brian Lee O'Malley, drawn by Leslie Hung. Good comic. People should read it. But
I've not read it. I love the artwork in it.
But yeah, it's the page and the prelim. And I mean, there's more, but there's a lot of stuff. There's some cool stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I think is criminally inexpensive right now. I think if you're only looking at the top of the auction, you're missing a lot of great stuff. And I think that yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm not saying it's being overlooked. It's hard to say. I don't know how many people are.
That's the trick. You know, it's a week out. A lot of people wait till the last.
Of course. I don't bid. I mean, when I'm bidding in an auction, I don't bid till the end. So I'm not worried. You know, I'm not a panicky guy. Mm-hmm. But it's weird when like a John Romita Eternals cover is as inexpensive as it is. But I don't expect it to end that way. I mean, I'm realistic. I don't think. I think there are people who don't even want it who wouldn't let it sell that cheap.
Exactly. I mean, you guys can see, I'm sure, you know, how many people are watching things and those sorts of things. So you know the interest there is there and everything. And it's just it's the waiting game. But you know, it's the way these things go. I've been bidding more in auctions of late. I got the bug finally. I don't bid high. I did get a Sienkiewicz page recently.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
Yeah. But yeah.
Hey, I bought something from our competition last weekend.
Oh,
you know,
see, it's
all good,
yeah,
all good. Oh, yeah. And I didn't talk about every piece, Marcus.
Yes, I should. But what are you going to do, Marcus? You know, there's only so many hours in the day. But Mike, it's always fun, man. You know that.
Hey, obviously, you know, and thanks again for everybody for sticking it out. You know, I was like, oh, this one shouldn't be that bad. We shouldn't go too long in this one, and I was wrong. What are you gonna do? Anyway, back auction is next Monday, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern, and for those not familiar with our format, it's the counter counts down to 0, but the auction, every bid with under 3 minutes resets the clock to 3 minutes, so there's no sniping, and you'll always have a chance to raise your bid. And you know, I want you know, anybody's going after everything, I wish them the best of luck. And if anybody hasn't looked at the auction, please do, because I didn't get to everything. There's a lot of cool stuff. A lot of stuff that is going to be affordable. A lot of stuff that, you know, is supposed to be affordable. So we try to keep.
What hour of the evening on Monday do the auctions start to close? Is it
7 o'clock?
7.
7
Okay, 7 o'clock.
7 Eastern.
Got it.
And it should run 7 to 10ish. We're not asking anybody to sit through a 10-hour marathon. Oh, excuse me. Did I say that out loud?
I can't sit through a 10-hour marathon.
No, me neither. And I think it's
tough.
I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but that's a long time to commit to something. You can go, you can bid on something at the beginning and go out and have a full day and get back in time for the end. It's a lot. Yes. But no, and I appreciate everybody who bids. And if anybody has any questions, my
email up again to remind everybody.
Email up again. I'm reachable. I got our phone numbers on the website. I'm in the office pretty much every day. And I'll be in the office for the duration of the auction on Monday. So during the auction, if anybody has any questions or issues, I will be here to help. And
all right.
Well, thanks to everybody for another marathon auction preview. I think they're fun.
That's why I like it when we
preview that lasts longer than the auction.
When we plan these things out, I like having the dedicated show for them, Micah. So once you know the dates for the next one, which I assume
it'll be ending sometime like second week of December, I want to say.
I was going to say, I thought it was early December. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You coming up to New York Comic Con, Bill?
I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not. Kazer's going to probably be there, or will be there. I'm going to the IX Art Show. That's the week is it the week after that? I can't remember. That's in just north of Philadelphia. So I'm going to do that show. I'd like to do New York, but I went to San Diego. I can't do both in a year. It just kills me.
That's true. That's fair. It's fair. It's
And
stuff like
to go to the IX show, I have to take like Wednesday through Saturday off anyway. So that's going to be weird. No streaming for a Wednesday. Well, we may do something on a Wednesday, but it won't be me. So it'll be a good break. But I can't have 2 breaks in October. That's the trick. And I haven't been to.
You couldn't possibly.
No, and I haven't been to IX since I think 2018.
I don't know what that is.
That's it's a science fiction fantasy. You can call it fine art or whatever, but it's all traditional artists. They have a main show that's 5 days long that has about 200 artists in it that are juried. So you get your artists like Donato, Giancola, or you get gosh, I'm trying to think of the other main guys. You'll have gosh.
So it's more of an illustration.
A lot of the guys who would be in Magic the Gathering and that sort of thing. That just
where is it?
Like it's in Reading, PA. So Hildebrand, he's obviously not going to be there this year, but he exhibits there a lot. So you get a really interesting mix of just it's a show unlike any other at any rate. And then they do back at the main hotel on Friday and Saturday night. They actually have a second show. So where it's they call it the showcase, and there's about 200 artists in there. So they're not juried; they can buy tables, and and a lot of times if you don't get juried in, so you'll still get like really like an Alan Williams might not make it to get juried in the main show, but he'll set up at the showcase. So you get a pretty if you like to get immersed in illustration art. It's a really good show to go.
That sounds like fun. I've got some illustration art sitting right next to me that I didn't get to, but it's all right.
Wow.
There's some nice, I'll tease, if people go look at it. There's some cool, like weird Universal Monsters advertising art from the 90s. Like they got the Mummy hawking M&Ms, and it's hilarious. No, they're funny.
Give me a classic, Go-Go's painting any day, and I always brings.
No, I mean it's not it's production air. It's the Mummy and like Snickers and M&Ms.
That's awesome.
That's cool. I don't know who painted it because none of those artists ever get any credit, but it's fun. The Mummy and candy. Anyway, thanks, Bill. Thanks everybody for watching. I always appreciate it. And again, I appreciate every bidder. I appreciate every consignor, and I'm here to help. Anybody needs anything, I am nothing if not available.
Exactly, and your email address is right below me. So anybody has any questions, reach out to Micah. Again, the auction ends next Monday evening for the comic arts section of the auction, and it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern and can go all the way to Exactly. All right, Micah, as always, thank you for doing this. Everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging out with us this evening. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Stingray, who's in the chat, will be my collector interview tomorrow. His real name is Newell, everybody, but you'll get to meet him tomorrow evening.
It's been outed.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.